Well, let me start with where I agree with Tony Blair. I agree with him that we should be having a discussion about policy and ideas, and that's what generates politics. That's where the focus should be. So Tony is right about that.
What's interesting here is that Starmer isn't just responding to criticism from the opposition, he's responding to one of Labour's most influential former leaders. Rather than focusing on political debate, Starmer argues that the real measure of success is whether government policies are producing tangible results. The disagreement highlights a broader question facing Labour. Should the government stay its current course or rethink its approach as new challenges emerge?
You won't be surprised to know that I don't agree with much of what Tony says about what the government is doing. We can all argue about individual policies, but the real question is, what's the change, what's the difference that is happening in a country that we inherited 2 years ago in a very poor place? We put the policy in place to stabilise the economy and make sure that it grew so wealth was created in every part of the country. Because of our policy choices, that is happening, and you see that in the figures that were out this year, in recent months in particular. We took policy choices that we needed better public services. They were on their knees when we inherited them. We took policy choices that we would invest in those public services, that we would introduce new technologies, particularly in the NHS. As a result, waiting lists are coming down, with the biggest drop for 17 years actually recorded just 2 weeks ago. So with the right policy choices there, we also had to address the question of how do we get migration down without affecting economic growth, which is a difficult balance. Again, we took our policy choices, and you're seeing the growth figures are up, the migration figures are down, which tells you the change that we brought about in 2 short years. And then on the sort of international stage, which is obviously hugely important at such a volatile time, we have in 2 short years rebuilt our relationship with many countries, particularly in the EU. We're now a trusted colleague, an ally of our EU partners, but at the same time as maintaining our relationship with the US. And so many people said that wouldn't be possible. So actually, my response to Tony is, yes, it's right to talk about policy, it's right to talk about ideas, that's where the debate should be, but actually, no, I don't agree that the policy choice of this government weren't the right policy choices, given what we inherited, very different situation in 2024 to 1997, and dealing with what we had to turn around, the policy choices we're vindicated by them because those changes have happened.
Will you run if there's a leadership race this summer?
I've said many times that we were elected on a mandate of change in 2024. I'm not going to walk away from that because of the great change that we brought about already. There's obviously more work to do. The economy is stabilising, but we want to make sure that where there's economic growth, more wealth, it's in every part of the country. Doing a lot of work, for example, on apprenticeships. Hugely important in light of Alan Bilmore's report. I want young people to have the chance to earn or to learn. That doesn't happen without a government that rolls up its sleeves, gets on the pitch and gives them those opportunities. I want public services to be better. We've already changed the NHS for the better, so there's a lot more to do. And as I've said a number of times, I'm not walking away from the responsibility that was invested in me. People invested in me the responsibility to get on and govern, and I think the vast majority of people want us, politicians, to get on with the job they elected us to do, which is get on, run the country and improve their lives.